everyone. Boy, you guys are all sitting down. You guys have had a really long day, and it's amazing that you're all here. So I want to say thank you for spending time with all of us today. I think I've probably talked with some of you in person in some of the rooms. And I'm here to talk about my experience of sort of transformation, which isn't as dramatic as some of the other stories you've heard, but because it's my story, it has a drama and a resonance with me. And I grew up in an environment with two very artistic people. Both of my parents are visual artists, Francis and Richard. And Francis and Richard decided one day to get together and have two children, my brother and I, and we were born Woodstock weekend, so I'm literally a child of the children of the 60s. And all my life growing up, we were told that we could be anything, do anything, and we were always encouraged to be very artistic. I took dance class, I played musical instruments, I sang. But as I got older, and as I experienced the educational experiences I had, I was always told that I was a bit too much, a bit too enthusiastic about things, a bit too creative. And so as I got older, I stopped expressing myself in a really creative and positive way. And I became kind of buttoned down, a little quieter, a little calmer. When I was in my 20s, after I graduated from college, of which I had a very successful college career, I was ready to embark on my new life path. So I went to a conference where I was really excited about being there. One of my favorite authors was there, and I was going to take this opportunity to talk to him about his books. No one else was asking questions, so I engaged in a conversation with him, and I thought this was awesome, right? This was my chance to talk with someone who I really admired. After that session was over, I was talking with one of the women who was one of our mentors, and she said, "You know, you're a little tough to take." And I thought to myself, what did I do wrong? How had I been negative? How had I been aggressive? I was just asking someone who I was really excited about. And I took that with me, and I carried that with me all through my graduate school career. And pretty much for the last 20 years of my life, I've seen myself as someone who shouldn't speak out, who shouldn't be more than what other people wanted me to be. And I realized in the last 2 years, after two very traumatic things happened to me, that the point is, I may be tough to take, but tough to take doesn't have to be a negative thing. Tough to take can be a positive thing. Tough to take can get you places that it wouldn't get you normally because you wouldn't take those chances. Tough to take gets you off your couch at the age of 43 and gets you across the finish line in 2 hours and 10 minutes in your first marathon. That's what tough to take gets you. And it isn't about a massive exercise regime, because let me tell you, I did not train for that marathon. I walked 7 miles every now and then. I might run a little every now and then. I might go to the gym every now and then. I didn't do a special diet. I didn't do any of that. I just decided one day that I was not going to be passive. I wasn't going to sit on my couch. And I certainly was not going to run a race and let some 7-year-old lap me the last mile, because that has happened before. I think in life, when we encounter people and we have conversations with them, we really want to impress the very best of ourselves upon them, but we also don't want to overwhelm them. And the truth is, whatever your inner self is, you have to let it shine. Even if the other person isn't receptive of that, you have to own your own self of place. You have to own your own self of place, because owning your own self of place is something that you need to set an example for. I have 3 amazing children who I want to be anything they want to be. But if I'm not everything that I think I can be, then in my telling them that they could be anything they want to be, but I'm showing them that they can't, I'm sending them a mixed message. So I think it's really important as we navigate our lives that we say, what is it that takes our catalyst? What's our kind of point of motivation? And for me, sadly, it was the death of my stepfather. My parents split up when I was 4, so I really don't have any memories of my parents together, but my mother remarried when I was 5. So my stepfather raised me, and he was a good, kind man who did amazing things for my brother and I, and as well as his own children, who are my siblings. And he never asked for anything. He was always just generous to a fault, always nice to everyone he met, always kind and compassionate. But when he died, which was very traumatic and very upsetting, at the same time he died, my sense of identity in a role I had had for 10 years within an organization suddenly shifted and changed. And I was let go from something that I had really loved quite passionately as an advocate for children in education. And these two events coincided at the same time. And I heard earlier today someone say when life gives you lemons, you make, lavender-infused lemon sorbet. I hate lemons. Lemons suck, like literally and figuratively. If I'm given lemons, I'm thinking to myself, why the hell did you give me lemons? I don't like lemons. And I internalized that because that took me back to being 20 years old and being tough to take. I was rejected. Lost my father, lost his love because he had died, which wasn't his fault. I mean, he didn't plan on dying from Parkinson's. It just happened. But I realized after the course of a year that I could let that define me. And that's what I really want to talk about, is that in life, you know what happens sometimes? People treat you like the gum under their shoe. We know this. We know that people are not as respectful as they ought to be. We know that we're a culture and a community that relies on negative behavior as our source of entertainment. We reward people for bad behavior. We give them thousands of dollars on game shows. Our most popular television shows are women being catty and nasty to other women, where they might talk on screen about like, oh, I love her, she's so amazing, and then they go off screen and they're like, oh, I can't stand her. If I have to spend any time in the room with her again, I'm just gonna lose it. And then that's aired, so the woman who was in that encounter is like, but you just talked badly about me. And that passes for entertainment in our community and our culture. And we then stop and say, why do we have bullying? Why do children treat each other poorly? Why do girls slut shame other girls? Why do people not return phone calls? Why is all of this? It's because we've created a culture where that becomes acceptable behavior. And the truth is, you know what? Whether you're tough to take or a dynamic personality, regardless of that, everyone in this room is creative, resourceful, beautiful, and thus whole. Every one of us has something to contribute to someone else. We might not know it because we haven't had a one-on-one conversation with them, but I guarantee that through the course of the last 2 days of the things that Jeff has said, as well as the other speakers, there has been something that has echoed and resonated with you in some capacity, in some way, that you have left this room, walked into the other room, and met that person who spoke on this stage, because they made a connection with you. And it's okay if that person on the stage didn't make the connection with you, but you still show them the respect of what they're sharing with you, because their story is important. Just like everyone in this room has a story to tell that is important and powerful and has an impact for someone else. When we think about creativity today, we fine-tune it. My daughter is 7 years old. Her favorite thing to color are animals. She wants to be an artist when she grows up, as well as the President of the United States. I think she can do both, so I have no problem with that. But sometimes her older brother will say, that doesn't look like an elephant. He's right. It might not look like his elephant, but it's her elephant. She has a creativeness that he does not possess, but it still should be celebrated. And that's the point of what I do in my life. I say to everyone I meet, be kind, be courteous, be respectful, be compassionate, be giving, be loving, be hopeful, be enthusiastic about the people you meet. You don't know how your positive experience is going to impact theirs, but I can guarantee you, if you say something negative to someone, you know it will have a negative impact. It rained the other day while we were here in New York, and everyone was complaining about it, and all I could think of was, I don't have to cook anyone dinner tonight, I don't have to clean the cat litter box, and I'm in New York City. Booyah, bring on the rain. So thank you, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day.